How annoying are blinking Christmas lights? I'm just curious for my neighbors.
Legal pad. Is it extra long for extra BS?
Royce Freeman is in the building, baby.
Hold up. It's the Chargers squad. Everything Los Angeles Chargers every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the City of Angels. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Chargers Squad Show, starting now.
Well, hello. We made it. Finally, the midweek, end of the week, Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. Pete Fox, covering sports in LA since 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio, where I worked with Jim Daniels, who's been covering sports in LA since 2001, and Kenyon Barner. 10 years in the league, 3 rings, and president of the Royce Freeman fan club. I thought Kenyon Barner, coming out of tiny little Notre Dame high school in Riverside to Oregon fame and then on to the NFL, was a miracle. But Royce Freeman out of the Imperial Valley, which for those of you that don't know is like an hour and a half east of Indio, California, where they do Stagecoach and Coachella Fest. I mean, it is out. It's way, way, way out there.
East of Indio, isn't that Arizona?
Yeah, basically.
Just about.
I'm like, how do they have a football team, and let alone a good one, good enough to get somebody on to the NFL? But they have, and he's playing for the Chargers now. And we're going to talk about that and all of what is happening with the Chargers here on a Friday. KB, the reason that we've waited, Jim and I have decided the reason we waited till Friday for this show, in addition to you being very busy with the Big Ten Network, is that we wanted to wait to the very last minute to find out the update on Justin Herbert. Where is he health-wise? Right now, today, here, Friday.
That's right.
and he is day-to-day.
That's the update. Great update. Great update.
He's day-to-day. Yeah, he's it was limited today at practice. But the good news is Omarion Hampton was full go today. How about that?
There we go.
So that's good news. What tell us about what you know about Royce Freeman and the good and the bad of that decision for the Chargers to acquire him.
Well, first things first, what I know is he's an absolute stud. Obviously, he is a member of the Oregon Ducks. Well, was a member of the Oregon Ducks. He was there a few years back and is statistically one of the best running backs to have come through there. He shattered almost every one of myself and LaMichael's rushing records while we were there. So he's a guy who could run the ball. He started off with Denver. He's a powerful dude, has some speed, balance. I think he's a great complementary back to Omarion Hampton. I think he's a great complementary back to Kamani Vidal. And I think he adds a lot of value to this room. I think we could see something special with this room this late in the season, right? You're going to need somebody who can take that load off of Omarion Hampton, who's working himself back into game shape, right? You have Kamani Vidal, and we all know what he's been able to do over the course of Omarion Hampton not being there. He's proven himself and showed the value that he has. Royce just asked to that.
That's good stuff. Yeah. The question, Jim, that we had after the game and the win over the Raiders, which was fairly comfortable in the end, was with the handbrake of Justin Herbert. I still think he's going to play, but even if he does play, we don't know how effective he's going to be. But the game plan either way is going to have to be different. They're going to have to rely on the running game. When you look at the possibility of adding a third guy into the backfield, could the Chargers go out and do something we haven't really seen from them and just run the crap out of the ball and throw it very little?
And the timing is perfect. They just gave up 280 yards rushing, announcing to the entire world, we can't stop the run. So what do the Chargers do? Go out and get somebody else to mix that up even more. I really love the idea of turning this into a 3-headed monster because you've had success already out of Kamani Vidal. I mean, I think he's over-delivered. Can I say that with confidence that Kamani Vidal is over-delivered for what we expected out of him, which is taking pressure off of Omarion Hampton, allows him to get completely healthy when he comes back. So, KB, let me ask you, you're coming from from an injury. You're coming into this situation. It's got a bad offensive line. How do you want the ball? Do you want them to try and throw the ball? Do you want to try? Do you want like RPO, run pass option kind of thing, or do you just want to try and open that hole and run between A and B gaps?
As a back, you want to get your feet wet as quick as possible. You don't want to play with the water. You want to dive in. So if I'm Omarion Hampton, I want the ball whatever way you're gonna give it to me, whether it's on a screen pass or whether it's running power football, getting me straight up the middle, allow me to feel some contact, right? Because he has not felt actual game contact. He has not been tackled. He has not felt that pressure. And so coming off of a fracture in your ankle, you need to, there's that hurdle that you have to, I was literally just having this conversation the other day with some people out here in Indianapolis. There's a hurdle that you have to get over when you sustain a certain type of injury, right? And as a runner, our ankles are the most important parts of our bodies. If I don't feel comfortable cutting, if I'm not comfortable with pressure being put on, that's all things that's going to go through Omarion Hampton's mind during this game. So first play of the game, I'm giving him the ball, point blank period. We're not coming out with a pass. We're running something to get the ball in his hand and allow him to get some motion and get some confidence going early, whether it's a loss on the down, whatever it is. I just want him to know and him to feel comfortable carrying that football in a live game and live action.
Man, that's exactly what the Lions did with Amon-Ra St. Brown. All this talk about his ankle. Is he going to play? What's he going to be? Right. First play of the game, bang, right to him, catch the ball for almost a first down and say, all right, here's what time it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anything other than that would be absolutely crazy. You give him the ball the first couple of times. I don't even care about the first drive. Give him the ball every time. Let him try and find his rhythm. Let him try and wake up. Let him, because this kid is special. We've seen it before the injury. Yeah. Let this dude find his rhythm and watch what he can do. He did this behind an offensive line that was already shaky, right? He was already performing at a high level. So let this dude find his rhythm. Let him do what he does best. Find those little holes that nobody else can find. Let him fall forward. Let him run through a couple guys. Let him get going.
Yeah, KB, what would the ratio be ideally for you? I mean, ideally it's 50-50, but I don't think we're going to see that, and if they do, I don't know that it's going to be all that successful. But could we see 3-1 maybe running the ball versus throwing the ball? Would that be crazy?
I think it all depends on who you have at quarterback. I think if Herbert's there, I think it's Justin Herbert, right? You're gonna try and throw the ball until you can't. But if it's not, right, then you allow your runners to take over this game, right? They have to become a safety blanket. They have to become that becomes the alternative of what you would normally do with Herbert at the helm. So if Herbert's not playing, then I look for Greg Roman to lean heavily on the run game.
Yeah, the fact that this game is against a team that is solid in the Indianapolis. You're in Indianapolis where it's 29 degrees. So now my brain is freezing just thinking about you freezing. The Philadelphia Eagles here, they're 8-4, but they've lost 2 in a row, and their run defense is not good. I mean, it's 25th in the league. So that is, to me, like across the whiteboard in the practice facility, that their run game or run stopping ability is not good. And our run game is pretty good, hopefully much improved with the return of Omarion Hampton. So I feel like they have to go out with that mindset and say, listen, we're going to run the ball to death, even if Herbert's in there, and use him as a decoy potentially. I don't know.
I'm not against that at all, because you want to protect him, right? That hand, we all know, the world knows that hand is not healthy. That hand is not 100%. So I want to limit the amount of contact that he could possibly take all throughout this game. So if we're talking game planning, I think this week we should see what we've seen over the course of the last couple of games, right? Where it's nothing but 3-step drops. It's allowing him to make a quick read, getting the ball out of his hand, but making the run game his friend. That's the only way that I think this offense can be successful if Herbert is not able to play, right? If you throw Trey Lance in there, now you have to use the run game to get Trey Lance comfortable in his game, right, in his spot. So the run game has to be no matter what it looks like, whether it's Trey Lance or whether it's Herbert, the run game has to be heavily involved in this game versus this Philadelphia Eagles team.
This might be the ideal game for you, Jim. I know you want 25 touches. We might get 45.
Oh, come on.
We should.
It would be, I think look, unless they're just getting pounded and it's not working, like they're just getting stoned, carry after carry. because for whatever reason, I'm sorry, I'm just getting blown up on text right now as if people don't know I'm doing this. Stop texting me. Anyway,
put it on D&D. Put it on Do Not Disturb.
It's my daughter. Like, come get me at high school. I'm like, walk home. It's a mile. It's not even that far. She's like, come get me. Anyway, and my wife is asking me if I know Travis Rogers. I'm like, yes, I know Travis Rogers. I just walked out of the room to go tell you I was doing the podcast with the guys.
They don't care.
Yeah,
they don't care. Listen, my mother's the same way. My dad could tell my mom, hey, I'm going to sleep. She's going to come in the room asking a million questions, or she's going to call a million times. Where's your dad at? Leave him alone. He just told you he told you what he was about to do. They don't care. Women in our lives don't care, okay?
Yeah, but anyway, back to the point of that's not something I really thought about going into this. Well, I'm on the fence about whether or not Herbie should play. I think he will play. Whether or not he should is another question, right? I think that will be determined by whether or not they have a chance to win this game. But if he is out there and they're doing okay and they're hanging in there, is there a possibility that I don't even know how that would work if you're going to use him as a decoy? Like the only way that he's going to be effective. I mean, yeah, he can run the ball, but you don't want that with a broken hand. No. And the way he's most effective is if he's throwing the ball. So the quick outs is obviously, now if that happens, dude, I'm going to be so stoked, because that's when this offense to me is at their best, when he is throwing the quick outs on the crossing patterns or on the slant patterns or the bubble screens, type of things. Get the ball in Ladd McConkey's hands, right, Jim? However they got to do it. Yeah, I mean, that is a way to kind of make Herbert be a decoy.
Yeah, and I don't know if you need to go full on decoy or not either. I mean, as long as you keep him back in the shotgun, to where he's just going to, not even the 3-step drop, because you don't want to stick that hand under there, right? I mean, stay back there in the shotgun. That way you don't have to go anywhere. You're getting a better look at things. And yeah, I want to see some dump offs to running backs, man. Man, do I ever want to see that, especially this week. But KB, am I crazy? Do you need to go with one or the other? Or could you platoon the two of them? Or is that going to, mess with somebody's confidence or timing or rhythm? Or something?
KB, before you answer that question, here's somebody that has a similar question. Say out Cal Thunder says they may have Lance take snaps under center and have Justin out there in the shotgun and pistol. That would be fantastic.
I was just going to bring that up, because if Herbert is there, the offense is limited, right? If he can't go under center, you do limit the offense a little bit. But to your question, when you're asking, what exactly are you asking? Jen.
Wake up.
Wake up. Platooning quarterbacks. Is it crazy to hey, we're going to stick no?
I mean, you see it all the time in college, right? You don't see it. I mean, unless you're the New Orleans Saints back in the day, a couple years back, when I forget the kid's name that they had at quarterback that they were using like a running back, number 7, played special teams and everything. Was an absolute dog.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see that. And I don't think Herbert is a professional. Herbert is a pro's pro. I don't think Herbert has to find a rhythm, right? I don't think he's not new to this. He's true. This is not his first go round. So for Herbert to have to go out of the game or come into the game, I think he's more than mentally equipped to be able to handle a scenario like that.
What about Trey? I'm sorry, Pete. What about Trey's end of it, though? I mean, does he need more reps, or does he need, to be in there a little bit more for his confidence, for his rhythm?
Maybe so. Trey's a younger dude. He's a younger quarterback, and so maybe he needs extra reps to find his way. But Trey also has to understand it's Justin Herbert in front of me, right? You got to understand that at the end of the day, when it all falls down, if Herbert's healthy enough to play, it's going to be Herbert. So my running back coach used to say this when my redshirt freshman year at the University of Oregon, when I was behind Michael James. He used to always say, KB, don't count your reps, just make them count. And no matter how many you get 1, you get 2, you get 3, make them the best possible reps that you could possibly have. Let that be the highlight of the film when we turn it on. This man only had 3 plays, but they were the best 3 plays of the game. So for Trey Lance, it doesn't matter how many reps you get. Make sure that you've taken enough mental reps, that you've watched enough film, that you've executed whatever it is that you need to execute to get yourself in the right mind frame to go out there and execute these plays. Because at the end of the day, this is professional football, and you have to be ready at the drop of a dime.
I think we should have a feature here weekly, KB's catchphrase of the day, because he's always got one. And
Oh, the coach speak. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it is a key to being a professional athlete, because I've never met a professional athlete, current or former, that doesn't have at least a handful of those, because they come from coaches, they stick with you, they work, they mean something, they're meaningful.
It means good coach, and it means you were paying attention.
Don't
not only that, man.
Reps count. I'm so using that on my dog.
Man.
I say this about the game of football. The game of football will teach you life. Like the game of football is just not about sport. This game has given more to me as a man than it could ever give to me as an athlete. The people that it's given to me, the coaches that I've been up under. This game is so much bigger than a pig skin and some cleats, pads, and helmet. This game of football will give you life.
Yeah, this Sayao Cal Thunder says that's what Roman said about the splitting time, two-headed monster under center for quarterback situation this week for the Chargers. So if Herbie is fine, and I'm thinking that that's the indication that he's good enough to go, they're going to split time with him and Trey Lance, and that will be interesting for sure.
I want to the run game being a focal point. We also got to understand that Jalen Carter's hurt as well. He's not playing in this game, right? And that's their monster defensive tackle. So that is a piece on that defense that can be exposed, right? We don't know exactly. I don't know who's going to be there, but I know they're not Jalen Carter. So that's, again, you got to take advantage of what you can take advantage of. So, diving back into that running game, I would absolutely try and attack those A gaps where Jalen Carter would typically be.
As we continue here to break down what's going on with the Chargers heading into this week at home against the Eagles on Monday night, we're going to continue to discuss the offense a little bit. And of course, we'll get into the defense. But after the break, Exotic Vibe wants to know what we think of Quentin Johnston and where he is right now. And also going to discuss Jamari Sawyer a little bit. Maybe the answer at left tackle. Holy cow. I can't believe we have an answer to something on this offensive line. It's amazing.
We're going to find out this week, Pete. We're going to find out against this defensive front for sure.
Yes, indeed. He'll be tested. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. Pete Fox, Kenyon Barner, and Jim Daniels. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but with Prize Picks, making the right decision can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this year's sports season now that the football season is rolling along and heading towards the finish line. The NBA is up and running, the NHL's up and running, and of course, there are plenty of other things that are less popular that you could bet on. That's one of the cool things about Prize Picks. It has almost every available sport on there to get in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, Prize Picks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 players and their stat projections for the game. And sometimes it's fun to just go find like cricket or something you know nothing about and just pick a player and go over or under. You don't even know how many wickets they're going to have, but or what a wicket is. But it's fun to do that as well. I've done it a few times. I was unsuccessful, but it was definitely entertaining. So again, you pick more or less on 2 to 6 players and their stat projections. And if you get them right, you win. It's that simple. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere Prize Picks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. The other cool thing is when you win and you are able to cash out, they pay you with Venmo or PayPal or something quick and easy like that, where it goes right into your account. You don't have to wait weeks to get some random check from some LLC that you've never heard of in Lincoln, Nebraska. It just goes right to you, and it's very easy to get signed up as well. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's Locked On NFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. And yes, that story about getting a random check in the mail from some random LLC in Lincoln, Nebraska is real. That happened to me a few times back before sports betting was as legal as it is now. I would dabble, I guess, illegally with some betting outfit out of Saskatchewan, Ontario, or the Kanawaki Indian Reservation. Anyway, I would win every now and then, and I would try to cash out and get like $60, and it would take like 6 weeks, and then this random check would show up in the mail from some LLC in, Nebraska. I'm like, what is this? Oh, that's my winnings. Nowadays, it's a whole lot better and easier.
Quick gambling confession. I went to UNLV and we were betting on football before we could get into the casinos. We'd have to find somebody to fill out parlay cards for us.
Crazy
stuff right there.
You learned gambling 101 at UNLV.
Yeah. I love when people are like, you're going to Vegas. Here, put 20 on the fill in the blank team to win it all. I'm like, just go on your phone. You can do it anywhere you want.
You get tired of that $20 bill instead.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and then there's always you have to wonder if they actually made the bet. Because a lot of times I've heard this story too. Someone will give you like, here's $100, bet on my team to win the World Series or whatever. And then they're like, the Kansas City Royals are never going to win the World Series. I'm keeping your $100. And then that team does win the World Series. That person's screwed. They got to pay off their friend like $2,000.
I have a story. I don't know if I can share it. I'll share it off.
Sure you can.
I'm done.
The names and images out.
Never mind.
This guy I know. No.
Yeah.
Oh, if it incriminates you, then yeah, leave it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Never mind.
When in doubt, leave it out.
How about them Chargers?
How about them Chargers?
Yeah, how
about Quentin Johnston?
How do we feel about Quentin Johnston?
That's right, Quentin Johnston.
Look, here's what my thought is on Quentin Johnston. He's always ready, right? He's always there, and I feel like at times they're not utilizing him enough. Right. Early in the season, we kind of had these three guys pegged, right? As Ladd was the underneath guy, Keenan Allen was the mid-range guy, and Quentin Johnston stretched the field. Nowadays, I feel like Quentin can do all three of those. He can get you first downs. He can get him the ball 5 yards out, and he'll bang out 6 or 7 more. I feel like he is very effective for this team right now, and is like, here's another weird thought to think of. How far in the rearview mirror is the thought of him dropping balls? We haven't talked about that all season.
All season long.
Right?
All season long. And it seemed like that was something that we talked about every week last season.
Yeah.
Every other week. I won't say every week, but every other week it felt like that's something that we were hitting on. So shout out to him for making the correction.
Yeah. I'm a fan. I think he is definitely I love this term, and most people hate it, but he's a gamer.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
It is what it is. That term is real.
I work with I work too much, but I do another show, a fantasy show, and one of my analysts was talking about, these are players you can drop. You can go ahead and drop Keenan Allen now, and I'm like, oh wait, what? You could drop Keenan Allen. I'm not dropping Keenan Allen.
Yeah,
his production has really fallen off. If you look at, especially if you're looking at the fantasy line. His production has really fallen off, and that's just about opportunity targets, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Pete, you talked about the usage of Quentin Johnston, and we talked about this early in the year, right? Once Keenan Allen came back to this team, we said it would be hard to spread this ball around the way that we would have liked to see it. We said that some weeks it would be Keenan Allen, some weeks it would be Quentin, some weeks it would be Ladd, and that's kind of what we're seeing. And even now we're seeing Trey get in there and get you know what I'm saying, get his food, get his plate. So I do think that Quentin Johnston is underutilized, right? I definitely think that, especially what he was earlier on in the season with the big explosive plays that he was making. I don't know if, after the concussion, whatever it was that he suffered, now dealing with the shoulder injury, I'm not sure what it is that changed the offense or made Herbert start looking elsewhere. I'm sure the emergence of Gaston had something to do with that as well. So it's hard when you have, when you have all these weapons, it's hard to get all these guys the ball and highlight one over the other. That's a hard thing, but I would love to see, it has nothing to do with Quentin, but I would love to see this week, right? I would love to see Keenan Allen and Ladd McConkey on option routes to help get that ball out faster. I think they would absolutely eat these guys up on quick option routes. These are two of the best release receivers in the league. Not only that, at the top of the route, they're dangerous. So I would love to see that. But back to Quentin Johnston, I went and looked at the play that he scored on last week, right, where he ran through those two guys. I'm wondering if that's the play where he hurt his shoulder, because he definitely took some contact on that shoulder. definitely took some.
Well, he's gotten over the last 4 games, 4, 5, 0 catches, and then 3 against the Vegas Raiders. But that Jacksonville game, they didn't get him the ball at all. Part of the reason was they didn't get anybody the ball. They couldn't do anything offensively. So, I feel like, and look, there hasn't been a game for this Charger receiving core where there's been one guy that's like 7 or 8, and then everyone else is like 2 or 3. It's been like 4 to 5 for each of them across the board. So, give Greg Roman credit that he is spreading it out and keeping it, even. And I think that keeps the defense on their toes, and it seems to be working pretty well. I mean, they're not losing games because of the offensive passing ability. The reason they're losing games are other things like the offensive line not being able to protect Justin Herbert. And their inability to run the ball at times. But we talked about Jamari Salyer, who seems to be an answer. I don't know if he's the answer, but he is an answer at left tackle. He has come in and slowed down the criticism, I guess you could say, of what is happening on that offensive line. And last week, and I know it was a win against a bad team, but we didn't have much to say about problems with the offensive line. So we look at what the Eagles defense is doing, and rushing the quarterback, and how aggressive are they going to be? They're not one of the best getting after the quarterback. Their overall defense is 15th in the league, so it's pretty average. And I feel like that is exactly what the Chargers offensive line needs. They need an average defense to deal with, and hopefully they can come out and get some protection. The question I wonder about, Jim, is when your quarterback is hurt, and you can chime in too, KB, of course, when your quarterback is a little banged up, does that kind of motivate you a little bit to go out there and have a little better performance?
As the surrounding support players, his teammates? Yeah, I think so. Absolutely so. I mean, KB can speak to this more than I can, but I'm saying that, this is especially what a professional is all about, is next man up. And it's like, if your guy is next, if he's going to be a gamer and he's going to play hurt with a broken hand or just had surgery or something like that, I got to step my game up. If he's doing that, I got to step mine up too. If there's something I could do to make it easier for him, to take the pressure off of him, to take a hit off of him, I'm taking that bullet for him. I'm getting in front of him.
You hit the nail on the head. I don't need to say too much more to that. You are absolutely right in what you just said. So yeah, I'm riding your coattail on this one.
Yeah. I wonder if Salyer, because we've talked about him off and on, right, throughout the year. I kind of feel like he's been kind of hanging around. And I know people in the chat have said, what's up with Salyer? Why isn't he in there more? After Joe Alt got hurt. It's amazing how quickly we forget these guys' names. After Joe Alt got hurt, people were like, why isn't Salyer getting more time? And I was like, yeah, it's a fair point. And I wonder if Salyer's been sitting on the sideline going, hey, I'm here. I'm ready. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. So it feels like, hopefully they, again, as long as they're not a sieve, I think it's going to be okay for them. Ultimately. But when you look at the defense for this Charger team, a performance where they shut down the Raiders, especially in the second half, allowing a grand total of 154 yards, and they had 6 sacks. One of the things I wonder about, and I don't know how you flip this on its head, so feel free to answer this for me, but the Chargers are a team that are good against bad teams, but bad against good teams. So I look at this Eagles team and I say, where do they come in? They're 8-4. The Chargers are 8-4, but the Eagles have lost 2 in a row. Are we going to come out and maybe flip this on their head this week and say this could be one of the biggest wins of the season for them after, say, beating the Chiefs to start the season in Brazil? This would be a monumental win for them, and it would be something that they're due for, beating a pretty good team. So, and maybe this win one for the Gipper, broken hand, Justin Herbert could be the motivation that they need. But what is that, KP, that they're good against bad teams, but bad against good teams? Is that just is that the purest definition of an average team? I've stumped him.
You did. You did.
Oh, you on that one. You can
it's
ruminate. Let Jim answer the question.
yeah, because you got me on that one. You got me.
Yeah, is that the purest definition of like? It's weird to say that they're an average team at 8-4,
and
but
that's where I'm stuck.
Yeah,
that's
they
where I'm
haven't
stuck.
beaten anybody really good except for the Chiefs, and we didn't know the Chiefs were average when they beat them.
They beat the Broncos.
That's true. That's true. That was a good win for them. Yeah. So, but those were early in the season before the line had fallen apart.
So, right.
I think that is the definition of an average team. Is you're playing, you're playing the role to, these you're supposed to beat this team. You're not supposed to beat this team. I mean, and sometimes you can survive that stuff. I heard Sean McVay talking about trying to let that Carolina Panthers loss just kind of roll off their backs. Like, okay, that's going to happen. You're going to lose those games. That's easier to say when your team is firing on all cylinders, a little bit more like that one is. I mean, that's a team that's flirted with the number one seed, and so they're in a little bit better situation. But the thing is you got to be able to, I mean, this is a real test here, because this is a really good team that's reeling. They've lost 2 in a row, and so they're going to come out with some fire. Here's the other thing. Saquon Barkley has had 2 bad games in a row. This guy was Mr. 10,000 yards last year. Believe me, they're all sick, him especially, of not being able to get off. They're going to run Saquon Barkley right at the Chargers this way. They're going to make that work this week. I guarantee that. Yeah. And then, trying to stop Jalen when they get down, in the red area, especially inside the 10, man, that guy and that team is just hard to stop. So I think what they got to do is they got to try and keep the Eagles between the 20s and try and find a way to hold them to field goals or something like that. Because this would be a huge win if they can do this, because the payback coming next week from Kansas City with these guys as desperate as they are. I mean, you get to next week, maybe they're out of it and you don't have to worry about it. They lose again and maybe they are out of it. But I mean, I think this is a pivotal week. This is one that the Chargers, you want to be a good team, you want to be a great team, win this one.
I'm still kind of stuck, but I'm with you. That is the sign of a average team. But like you said, it's hard to call this team average when their record is sitting where it's sitting. I think what I would more so say to this team is this team more so plays down to the level of their competition than they do play up. So to your point, yeah, that's the mindset, the mentality of an average team, but the record would say something completely opposite of what we're saying now. That's just this team is puzzling. This team is very puzzling.
Yeah, I think they're a week-to-week team. Hanan Duray says, Jack.
That's an average team, right? A week-to-week team is an average team. A team that doesn't dominate the games that they're supposed to and struggles in games that's the sign of a subpar team. But again, can you be subpar at 8-4? It's crazy.
It is. It's
crazy. That's crazy.
It's strange. They have definitely not been on a roll at any real point in this season. And I think that is also a little frustrating to the fans because we just don't know what we're going to get from week to week. Right. Yeah. The one obvious ugly loss was against the Giants. Would have been nice to get that win, and
Jacksonville, you got to throw Jacksonville in there too.
Agreed.
But Jacksonville's not a bad team, as Hanan.
Jacksonville's terrible.
Thank you for saying that out loud. I know they're in first place. I don't give a damn. Talk to me in a month and see where they are.
Well, okay, they're terrible. They're on aren't they on a nice little run right now? They're 500.
In a terrible division.
They're not Raiders terrible.
I like certain pieces on their defense. But as a whole, I don't think Jacksonville is a good football team. I think that Jacksonville game we talked about, that was a game that we should have won. No ifs, ands, buts about it. And I always say this, that it's the NFL, it's any given Sunday. But there's certain teams when you're prepping, you got to put your foot up there behind. And Jacksonville was a team Jacksonville was a team that this Chargers team should have took advantage of, and we didn't. I'm not on the bandwagon of Jacksonville being a good team. I'm just not there. I don't think
at 8-4. They're leading that division.
Terrible division.
With the Colts.
I know,
but it's a terrible division.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're beating up on bad people, what happens when you play the good people? You're going to get your butt kicked.
Pete, you're in a division with Tennessee. You're in a division with the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis Colts are started off super hot.
Yeah.
That they've cooled off.
They're ice cold now.
The Houston Texans have been a mid-level team all season long. We all know what the Tennessee Titans are, right?
Bad.
bottom 2 teams in the league. So when you look at that division and you talk about, hell, the Cleveland Browns could go in there and be a good team in that division.
Yeah.
I would take the Browns over the Jaguars.
They're another interesting team at 8-4. I mean, yeah, the Chargers should have won that game, but more importantly, you come away from that game going, not only did they not win, they got embarrassed. I mean, that's the thing that makes me that I'm a little swayed by. And
way worse than the Giant game, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, they kicked the Chargers in the mouth.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm a little swayed by. And now, like, we've seen them take care of business 3 weeks in a row, and they're in first place, and they're 8-4. But yeah, still probably not a good team. We look at the Chargers in that same vein and go, yeah, they're 8-4, but they're still not a good team. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I think the Chargers are a little better. And if a healthy Justin Herbert and the Chargers were to face the Jacksonville Jags again in the first round of the playoffs or something, you know, I think it would be different. I'd hope it would be different from what we saw this year and different from what we saw 2 years ago in the playoffs. So yeah, my question really is kind of more based on where we think this Charger team is right now and what kind of momentum they have, if any at all, right? Go ahead.
I've already said this. This is the moment of truth for the whole damn season. It's right now. You got to beat this team right now. Get this ship going in the right direction, because after this, Kansas City looking for revenge. After that, Dallas. Now Dallas, after what the Lions have done to them, who knows what happens. Maybe they check out. But after that, it's Houston, who's a problem for everybody on defense, and then Denver at the end of the season. Now, if they've already clinched and they can't do anything, then maybe you get over in that game too. This is the one out of the 5 that remain here. This is the one to me that is the most important. You have to win this game, which is why I think you have to start Justin Herbert. You got to win this game.
Pete, when you ask the question what this team is right now, when you look at the totality of what has taken place injury-wise and how they're performing, this team is absolutely a mid-level team right now. When you look at them, right? They're finding ways to win, no doubt about it. But overall, this team underperforms every week. So you to your question, the Chargers are playing at a mid-level right now, but finding ways to win, which is the most important thing in football.
Yeah, after the break, we're going to talk about a little bit more about what we could see from the running game and what we will expect to see from Justin Herbert, and speculate if Herbie does not start, how much different this whole entire offense will look. And then a few more points on the Eagles and their defense, and then we'll wrap up with how the Chargers have fared on or in primetime. It's been good. So that's something you can feel good about going into this game on Monday night at home against the Philadelphia Eagles at SoFi. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel, where you find Daniel and David Monday through Friday with the Locked On Daily Chargers podcast, an in-depth look as to what is happening in the Charger universe. We will return momentarily. But in the meantime, I will tell you about Aura Frames. The holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on. And if you want something meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It's not just something you wrap. It's the way to share memories with family and friends, primarily family. We have one in our living room. It's fantastic. It's so cool because it's basically like your own personal little Facebook. So you post pictures and you can send them to your family members' Aura frame, and you can post pictures to your own Aura frame, and they're just constantly rotating through, which is really cool. As you walk down the stairs, it's sitting right there, and there's just a new different picture up all the time. My wife's daughter and her family is in New York City right now, enjoying the holidays in Manhattan, and they're putting up very cool pictures of freezing their butt off. And the Aura frame is definitely, I enjoy having family photos all over the house. As a matter of fact, today I was kind of reorganizing some pictures and pulling out my daughter's volleyball picture to put it on on the mantle over the fireplace, because we just got those. I don't use the Aura frame a lot. I like looking at it. I don't use it, but it's very cool. So I have to, if it was easy, it's easy. What am I saying here? It should be easier for me, but I'm lazy, I guess is what I'm saying. That really all you do is if you take it's easy to upload the picture from your phone. All right. When you have an actual picture, then it's a little bit more challenging. But if you take the picture on your phone, you go to the Aura app, you put the picture up, and away you go. And for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting Aura Frames at auraframes.com. You'll get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter. By using the promo Locked On at checkout, the auraframes.com promo code is Locked On. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Dug myself a little hole there. I was like trying to say good things about Aura Frame because I have one and it's great, but I don't really use it all that much. I enjoy looking at it. That's what it boils down to. My wife and her daughter love it. They're like putting up pictures all the time. I don't do that. I like looking at it. I enjoy using it from the standpoint of with my eyes. But yeah, it's a very cool Christmas gift. It's modern technology at its finest. Chargers getting ready to face the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday night. The Chargers come in at 8-4, as do the Eagles. But we look back at primetime games for this team. They beat the Chiefs, right? That was the first one in primetime. What was the next one? The Broncos.
You had the Chiefs, you had the Raiders, you had the Vikings, you had the Steelers.
Okay, there you go. 4-0 on prime time. So
and listen. There's not close games neither. The only close game was the Kansas City game. You look at the other games, 25-10, 37-10, 20-9. You know that for whatever reason, when it's prime time, this team gets busy. So maybe that works in our favor.
Yeah, what is that? I mean, it seems to make sense to us as fans, KB, but like, what's the attitude in the club, in the locker room going into a game, on Monday night? Is it palpable? Is it very different?
It's completely different.
Yeah.
And it's odd because the mindset and the mentality that you have for a primetime game should be your mindset and mentality every game of the season. But when you get into these locker rooms and you get around these vets, right? When you get to a Monday night game, a Sunday night game, a Thursday, when you get to these games and you talk to these vets, you can feel the intensity through their words. It's like, listen, everybody's watching you. There's nobody else on TV.
Right.
It's nobody but you, the man across from you, and that other team. It's all about us. So what are you going to do in this moment? What are you going to do on this stage? Are you going to fold up or are you going to go out there and shine? Like, that's like the mindset, the mentality, and the approach that everybody takes. It's like, this is prime time. Everybody's watching. This isn't a 1:00 game where, the East Side is showing this game, the South is showing this game, the Midwest. No. From start to finish, it is all about us. Let's go out here and let's put on a show. Let's represent, let's dominate this team. That's like the speech that you get in every locker room that I've been in, and I've been in a lot. I've been in quite a few. I'm a journeyman, but that's what's consistently preached. Like that, it's like you get up for these games at a completely different level. The energy is different, the excitement is different, the intensity is different, the desire is different. It's completely different. So for whatever it is with this Chargers team, let's just play prime time every single game throughout the rest of the season and we'll be just fine.
Jim, it's got to be a lot about the not just everybody watching, but all the other players in the league, right? I mean, that's a big part of it. It's not just everybody's watching, all the sports fans. It's like all the other players are watching too.
I think it's more so about that than it is about the fans. I mean, you've got to be able to tune the fans out when you walk into any foreign stadium, right, KB? I mean, you don't want to hear any of that noise. I love during the Dodger playoff run, somebody asked one of the Japanese players, hey, did you hear those guys in Philly talking all that trash? The guy says to him, he didn't speak English, so no, he didn't hear any of it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the most important thing is you're playing in front of your colleagues, you're playing in front of your peers, guys that you'd like to play with, guys that you want to show, they gave up on you, that show you want to be able to show them, oh, you made a mistake. You should have stuck with me. So I think it's more so about that than anything else. They know everybody's watching.
And before we get to what this game will look like if Herbie doesn't play, I have a question for you, KB. Why isn't number 25, 34, 38, 23, or 44 retired in the Eagles stadium yet? Why isn't it hung up there yet? Not you
You
had
know,
5 numbers there. They couldn't pick one to retire. What's going on?
listen, had quite a few. I got to talk to Howie about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go talk to Howie and Mr. Lori. We're gonna have a conversation about why these numbers aren't retired. Okay.
How does that go, by the way? Hey, KB, your number today is 38. Now it's 23. Like,
But that's what happens when you're bouncing around and you're going from team to team. I think I consistently wore the number 38 consistently the tail end of my career. So I went back to what numbers did I have? I think when I
well,
first
according to
signed with
Google, those were all your Eagle numbers.
no, so look, those are my numbers in general. So
Oh, okay.
25 was the number that I got when I got drafted to the Carolina Panthers. Then when I went to the Philadelphia Eagles, I wore 34 for a couple of years.
And then 30.
When the year before the year of the Super Bowl, I signed back to Philadelphia after being with the Chargers, and I got the number 38, and I wore 38 there. I wore 38 in New England, and then I wore 38 in Atlanta. I went 1 year in 44 when I got to Tampa Bay, but the following year I was back in 38. So yeah, in 23 when I went to when I had a short stint with Carolina.
44, were you carrying extra weight that year? So you're a fullback?
You would have thought about it. You would have thought I was.
KB's always been svelte. He never carried any extra weight. So look, we all think Herbie's going to play, but if he doesn't, we have to kind of envision what that's going to look like. And is Trey Lance going to come in there and just hand the ball off over and over again? I think that would be a very bad game plan. But if they have three-headed monster in the backfield, and Trey Lance with the ability to run the ball, what do you think it looks like from both of you?
I think if Herbert's playing, I think you get a lot of RPOs. I think you get a lot of screens. I think you get a lot of play with the cadence to try and get this defensive line to kind of stay at home. I think it'll be a lot of quick game if Trey Lance does get in there and play. I think you have to you got to trust him, right? You got to be willing to open your playbook up a little bit to help this team, because if you pigeonhole him, you pigeonhole the offense, and you can't afford to do that versus Philadelphia team. You have to be able to trust him and allow him to go out there. Listen, the kid is going to make mistakes. We would love for him to go out there and play a perfect game, but you got to be able to live with the mistakes that he will possibly make. And who knows, he may go out there and play lights out and have one of the best games of his short career that has been so far, and be that first round guy that everybody thinks that he is. So I think that's what it looks like. I mean, if Trey Lance play, he's gonna use his legs. Whether it's designed or a play breaking down, he's gonna use his legs. That's just what he does. That's the benefit of having a quarterback like him. So I think with both of them, you get RPOs, you get screens, you get a heavy dose. If Trey Lance is in the game, I think you get a heavy dosage of the run game. That's just what I believe.
He's 7 of 13 on the season. Jim, do you worry about those numbers at all if he plays as a starter on Monday?
No, I'm going to throw every bit of that out. This is a standalone situation here. You're not trying to win your way into the starting position with this team. You're starting to come in here and accomplish a mission. And that mission is KB took the words right out of my mouth. RPO's got to be the number one thing. Give this guy options. Give him a second or two to think about where he wants to go with the football and what he wants to do with it. The three-headed monster, I'm really not all that afraid of them starting him and letting Herbert rest, because man, a re-injury of that thing could be the end of the season.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to think about that. That in Kansas City coming up next week. You don't want to look past this opponent and think about the next one. But you know what? You're going to need Herbert next week. You're going to need to sling the ball next week. So if they do decide that they want to sit him, I'm not afraid of Trey running this offense at all, because Philadelphia, this is not shootout team. They want to slow it down, run the ball, grind it out, keep the score down, which, okay, if you want to do that, we'll play defense and run the ball with you here and take our chances. So, I mean, I don't think it's horrible if they sit Herbie.
I hope that Greg Roman has had a week of sleepless nights, just trying to come up with a plan. I hope
what practices looked like.
Yeah. I would not be the least bit offended if we saw like the wing T Army offense, right? Just get out there and 4 yards and a cloud of ground up rubber. That's what just something that's like mind boggling, blows our mind, and it works, of course. But I know that, like, to get to the back of the playbook or throw the playbook out and come up with a new scheme for this game, because it is a big one. It's a big one. And if they win, it'll be huge for them in their hopes of getting to the playoffs. And it's a big feather in their cap to be able to win this game with a quarterback that's injured or without your injured quarterback. So that's what I'm hoping for, is that we see just something unheard of, like something completely against type and surprising and innovative, right? Even though the wing T is not innovative, we don't see it in the NFL very much or at all. So I think it would be mind boggling. And if it worked, I think that would be one for the books. But that's going to do it for us here. Make sure that you check out KB Saturday. Where can they find you, the fans of Kenyon Barner?
I will be on the sideline doing social media work for the Big Ten for this game. So you'll catch me on all the social networks, doing my thing for Indiana and for Ohio State,
where it will be 29 degrees. So
what's that handle?
Great thing will be indoors.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's a dome stadium. Oh,
yeah.
Look at
man.
you.
I was hoping to see you all,
Why do you want to see that? Why do you want to see me at my worst?
Because it just seems like fun just being
I'm
out
not
there.
from New England. I just played there.
You're a gamer,
Listen,
KB.
you
You want to be out there battling the elements. I know.
No, that complete opposite. Listen,
you're not soft anymore. Are you soft now?
No, listen, we're a tropical people, baby. We're a tropical people. I need sunshine. I need a nice cool breeze. Listen, no, you can keep the snow. That's not for me.
Bro, he's got the hoodie on in the hotel room.
Indoors, and the beanie. And the beanie.
All right, guys. It's been fun. The midweek, late week Chargers squad show. Pete Fox, Kenyon Barner, and Jim Daniels. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys on Monday night after the Chargers take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Enjoy your weekend. Take care. See ya.